What's up, everybody? Welcome to League Unlock on another Thursday. My name is Eric, and it's a special Thursday because it is the opening day of MSI 2018 Play-In Group Stage getting underway in Group A from Berlin in the EU LCS Studios, and we're going to recap all the action from day one here today, but we got to start off with where this event is being held. There was some skepticism about it being held at the EU LCS Studios, and with good reason, especially with the timing that it is in Europe. The fans there were very underwhelming. Just take a listen to some of the opening lineups.
In the top lane, Ural. In the jungle, Adi. In the mid lane, Seiya. At AD carry, White Lotus.
That is just sad. I mean, most people are at work in Europe based on the time zones that are there. That studio is tiny, but you can hear maybe 3 people cheering for these starting lineups and introductions of the players. So that is very disappointing and just not even close to the level we come to expect from massive international events like MSI. So I'm not a big fan of that, and we're not going to Paris until the knockout stages of the main stage. So most of these games are going to be in the EU LCS Studios, which again is disappointing, but let's hope these games didn't disappoint. The day started off with KLG from the CLS, Latin South America, taking on Gambit Esports from the LCL out in Russia. And as you remember from Worlds 2017, the play-ins, Gambit did not do well, so they're looking for redemption on the international stage. And in that opening game, the first thing you're going to see is a new champion select that Riot brought in. And it looks very confusing. You don't know what's vertical, what's horizontal. I don't really know what's going on here. I don't know why they went away from the old one. Let's jump into the game. Not even 2 minutes in. Bot lane, still level 1. Diamond procs with the old trundle cheese. Gets the flash, and first blood goes to Edward. That's a good way to start MSI 2018. 7 minutes now. KLG goes for the dive, and it's going to be slow. That misses his E. He has to flash as a result. They can't lock up any kills, and Diamond eventually shows up with the Galio ult in his pocket. 2 kills on the way of Gambit. That dive was a belly flop. 26 minutes. Kira puts KLG in the Galio bounce house. Gambit cleans up the fight pretty easily. 2 more kills for them. They had a big early lead. A little bit later on, PvP Stejos in a bot lane 1v1, but a new challenger approaches, and that is a whiffed flash. That wasn't even close. 4 dudes show up. Gangplank does eventually, and I mean eventually, go down, but meanwhile, Gambit picks up the Baron. Stejos calls worth on that one. 29 minutes, Edward with the fast engage. The fast fingers on the recon to catch out Plugo. Gambit cleans up the fight and breaks down the base. They would eventually take this game in 30 minutes in a pretty convincing fashion. Pretty clean win. They look totally different than they did at their last international event. The only difference on the roster, again, is Lodic in at AD carry, who had a pretty fantastic debut game on the international stage. 8-0-6 on that Xayah, and Gambit, they start pretty well. They look very clean. Diamond Prox, who, by the way, was one of the weakest junglers during the LCL season, has a really solid game, really active early game, getting his guys ahead. And just like that, Gambit's 1-0, KLG 0-1. Let's move on to the next matchup. Rainbow 7 taking on Ascension. Ascension out from the GPL. And Rainbow 7, the big favorites in Group A out of the LLN, taking on, again, Ascension in this one. And Rainbow 7, much like Supermassive in Group B, they got all the hype here. And you got Seiya on his Azir, which he was 6-0 this season on. And again, this champion select is gross. 4 minutes in, new game, same story. Early gank from a Trundle results in the first blood for the bottom lane. It's White Lotus, who hasn't played with this team in all of 2018. He was banned. 15 minutes now, we got a fight at Herald. Intresso gets blown up early. Lloyd finishes off Audi. G4 tanks insane amounts of damage, and then Lloyd flashes in 1v3. He gets slapped by Seiya. White Lotus dashes behind Gemtix to survive. He barely does, ends up getting the kill on Rocky. What a wild fight. 3 kills on each side. We had a lot of fiestas today, by the way. A lot of crazy team fights. 26 minutes. G4 caught out. He pulls in Varus. White Lotus gets caught out again, who flashes out, but he's still going to go down. Ascension is cleaning up the fight, but Seiya is at full health. R7 is going to chase this one down. Seiya just untouched in this one, and eventually he's going to stuff Rocky at the rim. The Rainbows grab 3 kills eventually when they chase down Rich, and that's going to be the big purple worm for them eventually. And then they're looking for their second Baron. They back off, but Baron is so low. White Lotus again gets caught out. He's going to get pulled in here, and Audi is going to go down to Ascension, eventually pick up the big purple worm. It didn't reset enough. It got to like 3,000 health, and then Ascension's able to just come in. They clean it up. A few minutes later, Rainbow 7 with 5 dragons. They're looking for the Elder, but Seiya gets locked down and popped instantly. GPL lads clean up 3 kills, and they don't want the dragon. They're thinking bigger picture. They want the Nexus. White Lotus and Audi left defending. The Varus is going to go down, but Lloyd is tanking the turrets for an eternity. He goes down too. The Troll defends his bridge. Rainbow 7 stay alive and defend the Nexus. Genthix eventually flashes in for a kill of his own, and they would nab the Elder to go with their 5 dragons. Then they're pushing it down mid. Seiya, White Lotus explodes Lloyd, and he gets hit by the GA spawn camp ulti from the Azir. Triple kill for him. White Lotus is eventually going to clean this one up and chase it down. It was a messy one. Over 43 minutes, a lot of combined kills here, but Rainbow 7 ultimately come out with the win. They move to 1-0, tied for Gambit, the top of the standings. Definitely not clean by any means. Rainbow 7, this was, again, the big favorites coming into this group, so you expect them to put up a very clean performance against Ascension, the team most people were picking as the weakest team in this group, but a couple of questionable throws kind of got Ascension back in the game. That Baron call, not so great, and White Lotus got caught out a lot. In the post-game interview, he kind of said he was a little bit nervous. It was his first game on stage back with his team after he was banned for a very long time. So definitely a little bit of nerves there. Not quite the performance we were expecting out of him coming in that bot lane position. But Seiya looked fantastic for Rainbow 7 in that mid lane. 7-0 now this year in 2018 on Azir. Got to expect that to be banned going forward at this tournament. That's only the first 2 games. We got 4 more games, and on the other side of the break, we're going to be giving you those recaps from all of them. Who's going to stand alone at the top of the group at 3-0 after day 1? We're back on League Unlocked. My name's Eric, and we're continuing our recap from day 1 of the MSI Play-In group stage. First couple of games we went over. Gambit's at 1-0, KLG 0-1. Rainbow 7 1-0, and Ascension 0-1. So next game we're looking at Gambit taking on Ascension. Again, I just keep saying this. Gambit didn't win in the World 2017 play-in, so their last international event today. They're already 1-0, looking to go 2-0 against the squad from the GPL, who really gave Rainbow 7 a run for their money in their opening game. Look at this champion select. They had some weird new one in the first 2 games, and then by the 3rd game, they were like, you know what, everyone hates it, so let's just go back to the normal one. They did that. That was a scratch, not a pick, by the way, for Diamond Procs. 4 minutes in, Ascension go for the dive on Stayhouse, but Diamond is there for the counter gank. 2nd straight game that he locks up first blood for his squad there. Nice pathing and just knowing where the enemy jungler is. Way ahead to 28 minutes here. Rich gets destroyed before he can even use Black Shield. G4 tanks the entire team on Swain, while Lloyd is left untouched. Ends up being a 3-for-2 in flavor of ASC. And then a couple minutes later, we're going to go head back into the Baron pit, and Stayhouse is going to knock off a couple of people. This fight never seems to end, by the way. We're back in the Baron pit. Stayhouse knocks a couple of people up and manages to survive. Lodic gets snared, takes down Rich before he dies. Battle on 2 fronts here as the fight separates. Lloyd manages to stay alive. He just cannot be killed. It ends up being 3 more kills for Ascension, and then 2 minutes later, we're still hanging out at the Baron pit. Diamond is going to fly in He's trying to get the steal, and he and Kira take down the smite for ASC, but Caitlyn starts ripping through Gambit, and it's Edward and Lodic left alone versus 3. But remember, Kai'Sa is more commonly known in the League of Legends world as Space Bane.
Rocky just about unkillable on the front line. Edward gets taken down. Ascension winning yet another fight. The Baron not in their sights quite yet. Maybe Lodic can turn it here. Is he going to get it? He has so much healing. He gets a double. Kai'Sa is out of control in this game. Rocky cannot kill him. The death dance is too strong. Lodic with the moves, making it look easy in the end, playing on the edge of his seat, and Rocky now just has to run for his life. Don't think he's going to make it out of this one. I cannot believe it.
Lodic, the rookie, an absolute madman in his first ever international competition. That leads to a Baron for the Russian squad, and then Gambit pushing down bottom. Lodic is at it again, picks up the kill on Rich, flies behind the entire back line and says, you know what, Lloyd? I am just going to two-shot you here because Kai'Sa is an absolutely insane champion. That would be enough to close it out. Gambit start the group stage 2-0 thanks to Lodic's outplay and Kai'Sa being an absolutely disgusting champion. This is the pre-nerf on patch 8.9, so her Q with Death's Dance is still absolutely disgusting on this patch. And Kai'Sa is a must ban. Please ban this champion. But Lodic, the only roster change from 2017, making huge impact, huge waves for this team. Gambit starts the group 2-0. Ascension falls to 0-2. And woo, I don't think people thought Gambit would be better than 2017 Worlds, but man, 2-0. They're fighting for the top spot in the group. All right, next game on the schedule, Rainbow 7 taking on Chaos Latin Gamers. It's a battle of the Latin American squads. This is a heated rivalry, if you don't know. North and South America battling, and whoever loses these matchups, they feel the repercussions for a week. There's always bets. These guys just hate each other, specifically the junglers in this matchup. 2 minutes in, Audi does his own red and goes right for the invade, catches out Tierwolf. He flashes under the turret for first blood. These guys are level 2, and he's already grabbing first blood. 12 minutes in, more jungler on jungler action. Audi flashes on Tierwolf yet again. This guy is thirsty for blood, but this time Tierwolf is able to turn it around. He wins the 1v1 and screams as loud as he possibly can. Screams across the arena. These two do not like each other. 25 minutes. R7 engages on Plugo. He cleanses out, and Nate just goes to work on the Swain, absolutely decimating through the Rainbow 7 lineup. He grabs a kill on Jural and takes down White Lotus. They turn onto the Baron. Audi goes in for the steal, but he's way too early. Baron goes to the south, but the fight goes to the north here. It ends up being 3 kills in their favor. There's just no escape from the pit for KLG. A couple of kills go to the hands of White Lotus. KLG pushing the base now with Baron. White Lotus gets caught out by the stun again. He goes down. Chaos Latin Gamers close out and get the best of their rivals down in Group A action. They are now tied at 1-1. Rainbow 7 were big favorites in this matchup. You can see Tierwolf, if he's going to pick one win to have at this tournament, it's definitely going to be this one against Rainbow 7. So Rainbow 7 fall down to 1-1. In their group standings now, and with Gambit starting off 2-0, that's definitely not what you're expecting as the favorites coming out of this group. People thought maybe they could even go 6-0. I thought they'd finish 5-1. Well, that's your one loss if you're going based on my predictions, but never go based on my predictions because they are rarely right. So 1-1 for KLG. Gambit still sitting at the top at 2-0. Let's move into the next one where you've got Ascension taking on KLG. Ascension still in search of their first win, and KLG are looking to move to 2-1. 3 minutes in, 2v2 in the bot lane. Snow lands that snare, and Lloyd. Everyone pops their summoners. First blood for KLG. A few minutes later, Tierwolf hunting in Tresso. He gets CC chained, and he unleashes the top tier BM for Tierwolf. That is amazing. Leaves the kill for Plugo. 6 minutes. There's a fiesta in the jungle, and I mean an absolute fiesta. Everyone but the top laners is invited. I don't even know what to say here. I feel like this was the exact same game I played last night in my solo queue game, where this happens at 6 minutes, and then one of the teams just AFK because you give 4 kills over to KLG. Jump ahead to 19 minutes now. In the top lane, Fix jumps out of the Cassio ultimate, and Ascension dogpiles onto Tierwolf, but Plugo flies in on the Vladimir 3-man Hemo Plague, and Fix is left to freely clean up the fight. Finishes off Soraka, ends up being a triple for the Kaisa. She got insanely fed in this one. 24 minutes, KLG pressuring Baron, Flash Impale on G4, and it is just a slaughter in favor of KLG. They have 20 kills before 25 minutes. They would grab the Baron, and they'd be able to close out the game from there. Fix finishes the game 15-1-5 on the Kaisa, and the boys from South America are making some noise in Group A. They move to 2-1, and really all you're learning so far from these games is A, these games are spicy. There's a lot of kills, a lot of stuff going on in opposing junglers. Early game kills, which is something you're not accustomed to seeing in the super competitive leagues, but I love watching it. And you're also learning that Kaisa is a ridiculously stupid champion that should be banned every single game because she's terrifying. Last game of Group A. Group A, day 1. Gambit taking on Rainbow 7. We have the potential for a 3-way tie if Rainbow 7's able to come away with this one. Gambit looking to move to a perfect 3-0. And you look at this here, you got Diamond Prox on a Nocturne and Kira on Karthus. It's Global City. 3 minutes in, Diamond and Audi meet in the jungle. Get the fear on the troll. Kira comes in. Everybody flashes, but double buffs and first blood go to Kira. Third straight game. Diamond Prox gets first blood. A minute later, Audi smells redemption, ganks a flashless Karthus. Seiya has to flash. Audi gets his buffs back, but he can't dodge the Skittles. Kira gets the return kill. 16 minutes in, Diamond ults in for the R7 bot lane after the TP from PvP Stay Host. White Lotus, you got no chance, my dude. They dive Genthix, try to leave the kill for Kira, but a binding from him locks Diamond under the turret. The last shot, but he's saved by the heal by Loda. Clutch heal by the rookie. And we need to shout out some EU production here. Look at this replay. T-Tours, man. This is absolutely incredible stuff. It looks like you're playing Beyblades. There's so much spinning. The slow-mo spin on the camera. That's the kind of stuff I want to be seeing. 26 minutes. It's Gambit unleashing these globals yet again. Lodic opens up the shooting range. Seiya is eventually gonna drop here. This team comp from Gambit was just absolutely insane. Giral eventually falls down too, and that fight leads to a Baron for Gambit. They really worked their ultimates really well in this game, and they were looking super clean. Here it is again, another big engage for Gambit. Kira isn't even there, but all he needs to do is press R for a double kill. He did over 3,000 damage in that fight with just his ulti. What a fun champion. It would take a little bit, but Gambit would close this one out, and they move to 3-0 in the group stage. Rainbow 7, the big favorites, heading in to Group A, fall to 1-2. Gambit really looking at redemption from their World's 2017 play-in stage. They sit at 3-1. KLG, a surprise 2-1. Rainbow 7 fall down at 1-2. Definitely not what people were expecting. And Ascension fall down to 0-3. Spicy first day of matchups. Coming up after the break, we got your OP5, who's the all-pro team from day 1. And we'll take a quick look at day 2. We are back on League Unlock after a very spicy first day of action from MSI 2018 in Berlin. So you got Gambit 3-0, KLG 2-1, Rainbow 7. The big favorites coming into this event, well, not this event, this group, Group A, at 1-2. They're going to have to basically win out in the next stage of round robin to get out of that group. And then Ascension at 0-3. Again, these guys all play again on Saturday. Another round robin, they play every team once, so 3 more games. We'll see if Gambit can stay undefeated. But after day 1, let's take a look at some of these standout performers. We got basically your all-pro team, the best player from each position after action in day 1. And there's a lot of Gambit representation. That's what happens when you go 3-0. PvP Stay Host, really the only guy who played a carry champion in that Gangplank in game 1. He was a solid rock in that top lane for Gambit. Diamond Prox, I kind of talked about how he had been one of the worst performing junglers in the LCL season, but his early game was incredible in these matches. He really turned it around, got first blood in all 3 games for Gambit. Seiya in that mid lane. I know they're 1 and 2, so it's kind of crazy to have him in this list, but those first 2 games, he was hard carrying for them. White Lotus did not play at all as well as I was expecting and as we're accustomed to seeing him perform. So Seiya has really probably been the best performing mid laner for me out of the 4 teams so far, even though his team's 1 and 2 sitting in 3rd place. Lodic, you have to put here. I know Fix had an insane game on Kai'Sa, but everyone seems to be having insane games on her across all the regions. He was 8-0 in that first Xayah game. He had a fantastic game on his own Kai'Sa that basically turned around the game for Gambit. They were losing up until that outplay that he pulled, and then the Jhin in the last game opened up a lot of these engages for Diamond Prox and the rest of the team. And then lastly, we had Slow there as support, the forgotten about commodity in that game where Fix was popping off, landing all kinds of snares on the Morgana. Perfect timed black shields on him. Shout outs to Slow there. KLG, a big surprise so far in Group A. A lot of surprises, really. Basically everyone except Ascension you're kind of surprised about. You were expecting them to be on the lower end of teams after action in Group A, and that's where they sit. But yeah, Saturday, 3 more games for these guys. We'll see if Rainbow 7 can bounce back and if Gambit can maintain that 3-0 record. It's nice to see Diamond Prox and Edward performing at such a high level again. The action tomorrow on Friday is Group B action that gets underway. Let's take a look at some of those matchups that are coming your way. It opens up with the heavy favorites coming out of Group B. That is BAU Supermassive out of Turkey taking on Dire Wolves, who, you know, a lot of people think might be the main contenders for them in this group. So that's a great match to start things off on day 2. But yeah, Supermassive. If Rainbow 7 were heavy favorites in Group A, then Supermassive are gigantic. You could say Supermassive favorites coming out of Group B. This is the only team that people really think can give a legitimate shot and competitive edge to the guys already waiting in that knockout stage in Flash Wolves and Evos Esports. So plenty more action from MSI. It's just getting underway. Guys on Supermassive, obviously you're looking out for the likes of GBM and Snowflower to really dominate on that squad. Really, Zeitnot and Snowflower were the best bot lane in Turkey. They might be the best bot lane in this tournament, especially with how White Lotus was not performing again, what we were expecting to see out of him. So they're the bot lane to be reckoned with in the play-in stage until you get to the knockout rounds, of course. But who knows what's going to actually happen, because there were a lot of surprises in Group A. Maybe Supermassive drops a game, a couple games. Maybe someone like Pentagram surprises someone who most people are not really expecting a lot to come out of them. But, you know, who's to say? MSI 2018 off to a rockin' start. The only issue I have so far, again, we alluded to at the top of the show, is just the fan atmosphere that we have. There's just not many people there. It's during a work day in EU, and it's a tiny arena. I wish Riot had done something else about that, but maybe it'll look a whole lot different when the weekend comes and there's more people able to check out those games. But MSI action continues. That's all the time for today here on League Unlocked. My name's Eric Hummel, and we will see you guys tomorrow.